Hey everyone, I just wanted to check in and give you a quick overview of week 5. And as soon as I upload the video, then I will make the week visible. I just wanted to do a quick run through of the learning activities. Week 5 looks pretty much like week 2, 3, and 4 in terms of what we're doing: readings, discussion forums, 2 peer reviews, and then draft 4. So I'll be working all weekend to get comments to folks who asked for them for draft 4, and for the few folks who are waiting on comments for draft 2, and also to get the gradebook updated. So all that said, if you feel frozen and that you need comments in order to move draft 3 into the final phase, then please send me an email ASAP, and I will sort of rearrange the order, if you will. Okay, so there's that. There's no real difference between due dates this week from last week. Draft 4 is due on Friday night at midnight. Readings and discussion forum posts are due Tuesday nights. The peer review or reflection or peer replies are due on Fridays, as well as a very small reflection, which will be another Spotify post. So let me get down to the second part of this video. I will say this also, just before I give you my disclaimer speech. For week 6, I'll have a few videos that I'll be uploading, and I want you to, and I'll try to keep them as brief as possible and as bare bones as possible. Please watch all of them. Everything's in writing, but there are nuances that are difficult to type. So, and also in between, I often will add to videos, answers or points that I feel need to be stressed. I'll return to in a video. So, again, I'll try to keep them very brief, but I definitely want to do a walkthrough for week 6 work, and then also the final. There's no final exam, but I want to walk through, just sort of summarize the semester and just make sure everything's been touched on. So, okay, with that said, let's turn to the readings for this week, which is week 5. We are coming back to Bryan Stevenson, and you'll see here that I have under readings. Please watch this disclaimer video first. So the TBA is what I'm recording right now, and I just wanted to give folks, we're coming back to Bryan Stevenson, and I mean, you most of you you know this already, but let me just restate the obvious. And I mean, he is the founder and director of the Equal Justice Initiative, and they opened a couple of years ago the nation's only museum dedicated to the history of lynchings in this country, and also mass incarceration. And they do it, and he does it in a brilliant way. I will say that. So it's really an interesting design. He gave Oprah Winfrey a sort of a sneak peek and tour before they opened. So so that's what this this first video is about, and about that museum and why they chose. This is sort of the sort of after hours, if you will, for the 60 Minutes special that Oprah did on the museum. And for folks that want to, you don't have to watch the Oprah special per se. I can post that if you're interested. But this is about the choices that they made in the museum and in the 60 Minutes tour or special with Brian and Oprah. Why the network chose to use such explicit photographs when it aired that show. So it's they're not easy, but it's pictures. But they're certainly but they're important. They're really important in terms of honoring this process of honoring and owning our past. And so, all that said, and honoring, not honoring past crimes per se, because that's not necessary, that's not honorable, but certainly reclaiming and trying to honor the lives that have been taken. So many lives have been taken. So I think that they do a really wonderful job of trying to explain why they made certain decisions in that special. And so, all that said, I don't want to say too much. It's much more complicated, but this is just serves as a disclaimer or trigger warning. This first video is they're both heavy. This second one is an interview with Brian Stevenson, but an extended interview. But the first one is very explicit. So there it is. Okay. The last link and is an extra thing, and I'll just open it up here. From Medium.com. There's a really interesting piece that came out 2014, a while ago, about no, I don't want to sign into Medium right now. An artist's rendering of recollections of the sensory deprived. So it is what the title says. So he's really Amy Elkin's work is really interesting, and there are other people mentioned and discussed, but Amy Elkin has done some incredible portraitures and essays about the memories of people who have been held in solitary confinement for a very long time. And because that is what solitary confinement is. It is sensory deprivation intended to strip one of their humanity. It is, not necessarily used in the, yeah. Anyway, that's lots of debate about solitary confinement, but the way that it's abused and used often in this country is explored by many, and I think that the visual exploration is really interesting. So, with that said, it's yeah, I'll just throw this at you, and it's just another example of multimodal work that I found interesting, and certainly is connected to and relevant to the work that that Stevenson has done. So with all that said, I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm going on. I just wanted you to be aware of what's to come in these videos. They're not long, but the top one especially, I mean, they're both not easy, but the top one especially is especially challenging on lots of levels. So just so you know. All right, eyes wide open, as I say. But again, really, really amazing work. Really amazing work. I will say this too, just for future reference. Hopefully, the Delta strain, talking about COVID, will go away fast. That's my hope. And now that museums are opening back up and face-to-face classes, we're easing back into them. My hope is that in the fall, which most of you should, if you don't transfer somewhere else, should be around. My hope is to I'm trying to set up sort of a field trip, a 2000 RC 2000 based on Stevenson's museum. So, which would entail, I'm trying to raise money basically for a bus ride, to Alabama. So, and I think it would be really wonderful to go with a class to his museum and spend a few days there. So, and come back. So if anybody's interested in that possibility, please send me an email, and I will put you on my list. So, yeah. All right. That's it for now, and I hope you're all doing well and staying cool. Please watch the next 2 videos. They'll be briefer than this one, and that's it. Just try to take some deep breaths and send me a text or an email. If you have any questions about grading, please know I'm going back in and plugging in points. By Monday, the entire gradebook should be totally up to date. So, yes, 100%, no matter what it takes. I will go back. I'm sort of doing a double 2 or 3 passes through and adding points in various areas. So, so just check in on Monday, and if something looks kind of, off balance, send me a message somehow, some way. Shoot up a flare, and I will take a look. So, all right. Be careful, be safe, and stay cool.